Good morning. It's Friday in the nation's capital, and the news here, starting off with the Congressional baseball game last night. The game was a big smashing success. Average attendance has generally been in the 10,000 range. Last night it was 20,000, and we thank the Washington Nationals for opening up more seats to meet the demand for the game. Heavily covered. I don't recall last ever, even though we've been, live streaming has been available for a number of years, that we've seen so many live streams and things like that so people could watch the game. Reporting, Fox News, the Tucker Carlson show was reported from there. I think Martha McCallum was over there as well. So there was a lot of on-scene reporting going on there with all the backdrop of the shooting that took place in Alexandria, with Republican members of Congress that were practicing for the game, and then the mad gunman came out and started shooting indiscriminately and then critically injuring Representative Steve Scalise, who is still recovering. He's undergone 3 surgeries now. One will undergo some more. Not sure exactly for his recovery timetable, but our thoughts and prayers go out to the Scalise family at this time as he battles the various effects of having that bullet still lodged into his body. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy. It was a remarkable show of unity, at least for one night, for the Republicans and Democrats. They gathered in prayer before the game. They had a very spirited game. Democrats thumped the Republicans 11-2, but in a very magnanimous gesture, the Democrats presented the Republicans with the trophy so that it could go into Steve Scalise's office and be waiting for him there when he returns, whenever that will be. Also in the news, Otto Warmbier, more medical update on him. He was flown here to the U.S. He knew he was in a coma a couple days ago. North Koreans have said it was due, he had contracted botulism. Doctors yesterday announced at a press conference that there is no evidence of botulism at all. Once again, are we really surprised? We're talking about North Korean communist regime, and this has led Warmbier's father, Fred, to blast the North Korean government for their treatment of his son, for the lack of medical care and attention that he's received. Don't really know what the long-term prognosis is of Otto Warmbier, but the doctors did say he'd lost a lot of brain tissue, which is never good. He's not really responding to a whole lot. Could wind up being in a permanent vegetative state, I think. There's a lot of speculation here. Could have a miraculous recovery and be somewhat functional. We just really don't know the extent of this at this point. But the prognosis right now, I would say, is not very good. And this is a terrible tragedy. Did Otto make a mistake? Yeah, young people do these things. They do make mistakes. They do stupid things sometimes. But to pay the price that Warmbier has been paying on this is just beyond the pale. North Koreans, so they released him for humanitarian reasons. Well, if they were really being humanitarian, he never would have been in this situation to begin with, medically. So there's a lot of questions being answered. Warmbier's father also criticized the Obama administration for not really doing enough to get the son back. Here's Trump has been in office for since January 20th, so we're coming up on 5 months, and this has already happened. And Warmbier had been imprisoned in January of 2016. So the Obama administration, pretty much had a year to do that, plus to get that going. But their focus was elsewhere, I guess. And you just never know. There are lots of different factors going on here, but nevertheless, it is what it is. New York Times issued a correction on their editorial that linked Sarah Palin to the Gabby Gifford shooting in Arizona several years ago, where the thing is that link, those accusations had been debunked long ago, and yet the New York Times saw fit to revive them, and then they then had to correct the record and said they were wrong, but the damage is generally done the first time around. So they got done what they needed to get done on this, which is to create some deflection from the motives behind the Alexandria shooter, and try to make this seem similar to what happened in Arizona with Gabby Giffords, that it was politically motivated, that Sarah Palin had fomented the shooter in Arizona, just like what the liberals want to say is that it's all the things that Trump has done and the reaction of the Trump supporters that has created this atmosphere that has led people to violence, and this is just this is nonsense and just lunacy. But the media is trying to find a way to, you knock Trump down by trying to attack him on all fronts, and that's what their goal is here. And then finally, on a much higher note, we have the city of Los Angeles paying tribute to the late Adam West. Adam West was the original Batman on television in the mid-'60s, very campy, goofy series. I watched it as a kid. I thought it was great as a kid. Didn't really know anything. You think about the mid-1960s and you look at today and the technology and what you can do with television. It was pretty bad, by comparison, but it was fine for its time. So they went ahead and threw up the bat signal on City Hall, and so I'm sure there are lots of pictures on social media and wherever else about that, and I think that's a great way to pay tribute to Adam West. I think he would have gotten a big kick out of that. So anyway, that's it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Stay safe and just have a great weekend, like I said.